Singaporeans spend a lot of money on education. Our $1.4 billion tuition industry is testament to parents' willingness to spend on a child's academic performance. Simultaneously, cognitive neuroscience and educational psychology have become developed fields of their own, allowing us greater understanding into finding efficient ways of processing and retaining information. However, despite the simultaneous strides in both education as a business and education as a science, the way we study has not changed much, and SpacED is here to change that. The idea began when in medical school, I dealt with an overwhelming amount of content. I studied the same way I always did, reading and rereading textbooks and notes, only to forget them the day after. The tried and tested methods I held so dear through secondary and JC were no longer sufficient, beginning my search for effective study techniques. The team and I identified three major issues with the way we study, spanning from primary school all the way to university. Firstly, people don't know that they are studying inefficiently, believing firmly in traditional approaches. Secondly, unfamiliarity with personal ability creates the dreaded "don't know what I don't know," leading to poorly structured revision. Lastly, even for those who employ efficient study techniques, it's usually focused on memory rather than application. SpacED is an educational mobile phone application specifically targeted at these pain points to ensure our users maximize their learning in the shortest possible time. Let me walk you through the process of a student learning redox reactions of secondary school chemistry through SpacED. We have selected chemistry as a starting point due to its ubiquity at a secondary school level and its content-heavy syllabus. SpacED follows a three-tiered learning system, developing strong fundamentals before building on them for deeper understanding. Tier 1 is factual recall. Direct factual questions are asked, where the student thinks of a response before checking the answer key and rating its difficulty. These questions are then repeated back to the student using a spaced repetition algorithm. This is the most optimized approach to remembering content. The process of answering questions is known as active learning, and has been shown to increase the content retained and the speed of recall over passive learning such as reading textbooks or copying notes. The concept of spaced repetition, on the other hand, aims to combat the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, which roughly maps the rate of information decline without revision of content. Repeated revision in increasingly spaced intervals allows for maximum efficiency when retaining information. Our student now has a strong set of fundamentals, which we build upon with Tier 2. Tier 2 consists of various types of questions on the same concept. There are 6 different types of questions, such as categorization, sequence sorting, and closed passages. Varied question categories constantly challenge the student to think about the different facets of the subject, creating a dynamic mental framework that can think about a single point from multiple different perspectives. The same spaced repetition algorithm is once again applied to ensure maximum recall of knowledge. The final tier tests the overall integrity of the student's mental database by blending Tier 1 and Tier 2 together. This consists of a recall of fundamentals before testing the depth of the student's understanding with more advanced application questions. This final step is to ensure that each step of the learning process is built on understanding instead of pattern recognition. Finally, the student sees individual breakdowns of his strengths and weaknesses in the topic, allowing for targeted revision to focus on weaknesses. Our combination of spaced repetition of active recall, tiered learning, and targeted revision optimize learning like never before. Moving on to the revenue model, SpacED follows a staged progression of B2C to B2B. We first intend to reach out directly to students at a monthly subscription fee of $30 a month, less than an hour of tuition costs. After obtaining traction in the consumer industry, we plan to capitalize on Singapore's massive tuition market. SpacED allows tutors to follow structured algorithms rather than try to plan a syllabus, while simultaneously allowing them to use technology to stand out in a fiercely competitive tuition market. Tutors also have the option of uploading their own content onto the application, allowing them to individually optimize their preferred teaching strategies. In terms of competition, EdTech often aims to make learning more colourful instead of optimizing learning strategies. Therefore, the closest thing to competition would therefore be the EdTech startup GenieBook, which uses a question-based to track progress and target revision. But at a price of $1,800 annually per subject, it aims to replace tuition rather than augment it. Entering the $800 million EdTech market in Singapore gives access to a huge total addressable market of 200,000 secondary school students. This market is only set to grow even further, with projections of EdTech reaching up to $2.3 billion by 2027 in Singapore alone. In terms of the finances, we aim to target 10% of the overall secondary school population, either through direct subscriptions from users or through tuition centers who subscribe on their behalf of their students. Assuming a starting of 10 users, with an average growth rate of 10% a month, this milestone will be achieved in 6.5 years, projecting revenue of up to $7.2 million annually per subject. Our fixed and variable costs are kept low by maximizing our available resources and are forecasted around our first milestone of 100 users. Fixed costs such as yearly app development subscription and legal costs are estimated to be approximately $1,100 a year. Variable costs within our first 2 years are marketing costs at approximately $100 a user through Google and Facebook ads, with back-end hosting development being approximately 10 cents a user. This allows bootstrapping to be a viable option to bring the project into fruition. In terms of future expansion, it will focus on the multitude of content-heavy subjects at the secondary and tertiary level, such as biology. In conclusion, the team at SpacED believes that education is long overdue for a revamp. Our systematic approach blends with cognitive neuroscience to produce a truly unique application which allows its users to learn more faster. Thank you.